good evening, and welcome to the SSF Rumcast. I am, as always, Jessica Haines. I am joined by my unstable friend.
Emma Jackson. Thank you for that, but it's very
Yay!
accurate. And we are also joined by Vicky Walklate, we've known Vicky for a long time. She's
Long,
another
long
romance
time.
writer, and we have to credit her for coming up with the name for the
No, you
podcast too.
really do. Yes, yes.
I'd
Kudos.
forgotten that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did a long,
We
long
did
time
not.
ago.
Yes.
No, that's
For
it.
like
So
6 years, is it? Like five
I
or six
think
years?
so. I think
God
Something like that.
it's
damn.
Yeah.
something like that. Maybe five, maybe not
Been a
quite six. I
long
don't know.
time.
Yeah. But yes, so
Aging us all.
we're doing another Defence of Unpopular Tropes episode. And so we've invited Vicky to come and talk to us. And we'll give it like a little bit of a different spin because the
Mhm.
Cozy Cup book club that we had last time obviously came at it from purely a reader perspective. But we're all writers this time round.
Mhm.
So, and obviously readers too. But we think it might give it a little bit of a different twist why you want to choose to write those things as well as read them. So yeah, without further ado, Vicky, please introduce yourself and your books and everything like that.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I am Vicky Walklate and I write spicy monster romance novellas featuring apex predator style monsters. And I also write slow burn, full-length fantasy romance featuring dragon shifters. So if you like monsters who are a little bit on more on like the monstrous side in terms of their appearance. If you like spice, if you like found family and banter and quite a lot of Britishness, then I might have something that you enjoy in my
She
collection.
will. She will.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that because I love slow burn as well as a novella with that's like gets to the point. So do you like kind
Mhm.
of alternating? Is it like you're writing the slow burn and then you want to go for a novella and like get straight to the point?
Kind of, yeah. I started with slow burn, and I think that was kind of my first foray into writing romance, and I found it hard to begin with, writing the
Mm.
actual sex stuff. So I think it was easier to start slow burn.
Yeah.
And then with the monsters, the first book in the series was originally a short story that was going to be an anthology that never happened. So it was always going to be short and sweet,
Yeah.
spicy sweet.
Hmm.
Um, and then I had to make it longer, but I still wanted to keep it a novella. So I kind of had to train myself to write the spicy scenes and the faster burn scenes in a shorter number of words. So I like writing both. I haven't yet. I've written the two fantasy romance books, which is a duology. I am really looking forward to going back and writing another slow burn because my
Mm.
monsters are very fast burn. But I think there's both of them have their own challenges. I like both. It depends what I'm in the mood for, really.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, do you find with the monsters being Apex
Mm.
that you can just kind of sink straight into it a little bit quicker?
Into the spice, yeah. Yeah. Also, you kind of have to. I think I saw with the other episode you did, where you were talking about unpopular tropes with the whole insta love thing.
Yeah.
Mm,
When you're writing novellas, you kind I get it. I get the insta love
yeah.
hate, if you like, but when you're writing novellas, you don't really have much of a choice because you've only got maximum 40,000 words to play with, and unless you want to spread it so there's a lot of flash forwards and they've actually known each other for like 20 years, there is going to be an element of fast burn. They've got to get it on quicker. Also,
Hmm.
monsters are hot.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of certainly my characters want to jump their bones quite quickly.
Mm.
And I am
Yeah,
here for it.
and like I think because we mentioned, didn't we, about the like the fated mates element kind of fast tracks that as well. And so I
Yeah.
think it works better when you have it in fantasy,
Yes.
Mhm.
monster romance and stuff. There are plot devices ready there and the readers are ready for that as well. Like
Yeah.
you're
They
not
know it's
going
coming.
for a monster
Yeah,
novella
yeah.
without wanting to get straight to the spice,
No, no.
really.
You can get low spice ones, but I think
Mm,
vast majority, certainly the books that I read are that they
yeah.
tend to be on the higher spice side. You certainly expect them to get to the relationship part quicker, perhaps,
Yeah,
than.
that's it. Okay, well, as we've started the chat about the tropes, I guess
Hmm.
we should get into which unpopular trope we have each chosen, whether or not
Hmm.
we've doubled up again or anything like that. So, yes, who wants to go first? I'll go
I
Oh,
don't
first then.
mind.
I was going to say it's like being at school, isn't it? No.
Yeah, no one does. No one wants to go first. It was like that last time. I went for virgin female main characters as a trope and being quite an unpopular one. So look at me being controversial.
Yes. Well, I was going to say I'll jump in next, and we'll let the guests finish off.
Hmm.
So I have gone for the one that you picked, Emma, when we did this the first time round. I have gone for miscommunication.
Okay. Right. Interesting to go for one we've
Mm.
already covered. And because Katie had said she was going to go for that too. So you
Yes.
must have an additional angle. There must be so many angles to come
Yes.
from then. Yeah.
Hmm.
So Vicky, what have you gone for?
Yeah. I'm going to be a terrible guest because not only do I like both the tropes that you've selected, but also the trope that I've gone for is not really unpopular. It's
Okay.
more Marmite. So I've gone
Hmm.
for alpha holes, which are more of a you either love them or you hate them. And it's I guess really they're not even a trope, they're more of a character type. So I've pretty much gone completely off piste.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, I've gone for alpha holes in defense of them because I love me an alpha hole. I really do.
I think you're right in as much that like most of the tropes are kind of Marmite, really, aren't they? Because
Yes.
Yeah.
so if people do love them, they really, really love them. And
Mm.
then, you know, yeah. And then other people really don't. I see,
If they don't,
I'm
they
not
can.
particularly an alpha hole fan, but it depends. I mean, I read a lot of alphas, but like we're gonna have to get into like the details of what makes them an alpha hole
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
particular. So yes, I guess we've got to start do. So I think last time we chatted about why we thought they were unpopular first,
Hmm.
and then we got into defending them. So
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say you're a bad guest because you like both of ours because we like them too. So that's easy wins for us.
Yeah.
You have a harder job. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Jess already knows she went really easy because she already knew she could win me over because I
That
picked it
is not
last time.
difficult.
Yeah, exactly. You cheated, frankly.
Well, no, it's coming at it from the different perspectives. So, okay, so
Okay.
it's one of those things. I don't know if everybody's the same as me. I have kind of, in theory, a reader and a writer brain. So if I
Mhm.
read things, the stuff I read, I wouldn't probably write. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. So from a writer point of view, when I've gone back to stuff and people have pointed stuff out, I've put miscommunication in so many times without even any thought into it. And it's actually
Yeah.
like, okay, why have I done that? And then you can start pinpointing the bits in it that
Hmm.
actually make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, which to me it does. So in real life, when you kind of sit and think about what's going on in the world, the amount of times that it really does happen that somebody
Mm.
will say something and then somebody will misconstrue it because of a wording or how it's said, or especially in the modern world with a text message that's reread a little bit trickily.
Mhm.
It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you read it on the page, oh my God, for the love of just slap him with a sock and tell him exactly what you feel, but it doesn't always compute that way. It is difficult when you've got somebody facing you, especially with
Yeah.
all highly charged emotions or a big ass monster facing you,
Mm.
to
Yeah.
kind of have those words and get them out in the right way.
So, do you think readers who don't like miscommunication, taking aside the portion we kind of talked about last time, which was it not being it feeling weak, it being used weak like to patch a hole and just sort of
Yeah.
create a third act conflict that hasn't really been earned. But if we're taking the miscommunication like you're talking about where it's quite realistic, do you
Yes.
think that's a case of readers not wanting to deal with the crap they deal with in real
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
life,
day.
Definitely.
or one of those things where it's like that what's it called, verisimilitude, where it's like they don't feel it's a reader will say that something doesn't feel believable, even though it is
It
realistic.
is.
Like the whole Tiffany thing, you know? Oh, Tiffany in a historical novel is too modern a name. And the reality is
Yeah.
Tiffany has been around for centuries as a name, kind of thing. So yeah, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's can't be bothered to deal with the crap or just a
I
perception
suppose, yeah,
issue?
from my point of view, it very well could be that because we've done stuff before. Nobody who's ever watched any episode of the podcast will be surprised by the fact of Secret Baby is not our thing. Not, I'm speaking for both of us now, Emma. We're a couple, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is it. I deal with children and all the other likes of things and sort of things that go on in life, and yeah, secrets like that.
Yeah.
You kind of, yeah, they're big things, and I don't want to have to deal with that when I'm reading my book. It's the escape, it's the fantasy. So yeah, it very well could be. I could see why people
Yeah.
would think it that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about anybody else. Vicky,
Yeah,
by the
no,
way.
I agree. I think a lot of it is people read to escape, don't they? And the thing
Yeah.
with miscommunication is it's very human, which is one of the reasons why I personally like it, particularly in
Yeah.
fantasy and paranormal, because I think it helps to humanize the characters. But there are readers, including myself, when I'm reading books, where I'm thinking, yeah, this is just this would actually happen in real life, and this is a fantasy world, so I don't want it to be happen. So just talk to each other
Yeah.
and deal with the situation.
Be grown
Yeah.
ups, come on.
Yeah, I think like there's like a sweet spot with it, isn't there? Like if they if they're doing that too much, you're like, can we not just get on with the like the juicy bits of the plot? This is like
Yeah.
just neuroses, like which we can all understand,
Yeah.
but like we want them to start moving along too. Yeah,
We know
definitely.
this has got a happy ending. You just need to get
Yeah.
past it. We know this is coming, so just don't draw it out too much. Talk to
Hmm.
each other and deal with it. Don't be so human about this.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, have the conversation and then get his penis in your hand.
You got in the word penis.
We have to drink now, don't we?
Yeah, everyone drinks. Is that the thing? Right, we've all got cocktail or we've all got drinks today. Mhm. Okay. So I think we've kind of covered why another angle of why
Yes.
miscommunication is not that fun. Um, Vicky, do you want to say why you think alpha holes are not particularly popular?
Yes. Okay. So I think that alpha holes are not particularly pop. I'm coming at this from a fantasy and paranormal sci-fi kind of
Yeah.
angle. I think they're a lot less. I think they're not popular because as humans, we are raised to believe that the way these alpha holes act is absolutely unforgivable. And going back to miscommunication, not very human.
Yeah.
And I think we all know, like, some of the things that happen in books, if they happened in real life, we would punch the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't allow it to happen. And I think perhaps there is an element of readers just not wanting to get past that, not wanting to get dragged too deep into the story where this guy who's a bit of a knobber actually gets away with the stuff. But I do think it's a lot easier to defend an alpha hole when it's fantasy or paranormal, because usually they're not human. They've got monstrous elements to their personality. They've got their like dragon or their wolf inside them telling them to be all possessive and growly, or they're just literally not human at all. So you can kind of, I think it's more forgivable to be an alpha hole in fantasy than it is in contemporary romance when they really should know better.
Yeah.
So I actually do get it from a contemporary romance point of view. I am much less forgiving of an arsehole, an alpha hole in contemporary romance. Yeah.
Yeah, a
That
billionaire is a
makes,
lot harder
yeah,
to sort of when he's
this
I
is
just
it.
can't.
bossing people about. You're like,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
don't like that really.
So yeah,
I actually really struggle to read billionaire romances now,
yeah,
in the modern age,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
yeah.
for various
None of us are
reasons.
defending the billionaires,
No, we're
taking
not.
them
We're putting
out
them
of the
No.
equation.
add that to
If
a
he
different list.
happens to be a paranormal creature too, we'll let him off because quite often they are billionaires at the same
Yeah, they
time.
are. Yeah, yeah. If
So,
they're rich, but they're also like a werewolf. That's not as
Fine.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
but this
They
is
had,
I kind of forgive it a bit more with historical as well.
yeah, it kind of makes a bit more
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
It's it's interesting you should say that though, because one of the first romance books that I ever read, when I was about 13 or 14 and really should not have been reading the books that I was reading,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
was Whitney, My Love by Judith McNaught. And
Mm.
I've got it on my shelf and I flicked through it recently, in preparation for this, because I was thinking, oh, that's one I could maybe talk about as kind of, he's got good feet. Oh, that man is not redeemable
Yeah.
at all. I've not read that. I should not have been reading that at 13.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think some of the Regency rakes from that, I think that was published in like the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Some of the things they do, certainly by today's standards, would not be
Oh,
considered.
yeah.
Um,
I
Shameful.
think we
Shameful.
kind of talked about that a bit in the Spice episode, didn't we? About how Spice has changed and how like
Yes.
the tenor of it has changed. Like even though getting bossed about now is is enjoyed in a romance novel, when you look at an older kind of book doing it, it wasn't coming at it from the same angle, and you look at it and you read
No.
it and you're like, "Nyeh, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't really work anymore." But yeah, I think the rich paranormal creatures as well, it also makes sense because they've had a lot of time to accrue the interest. They
This
don't
is it.
necessarily have had to been a
yes.
terrible person. Sometimes it's just that they've been sitting on a bank account. They put like the equivalent of £10 in back 2 centuries
Yeah.
ago, and now
Yeah.
they're very, very rich.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd
If
question
there's
a
a
poor
reason for it.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
always reasons.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think mine is unpopular for similar kind of reasons. I think virgin heroines, a lot of people don't like because they feel it kind of reinforces a kind of inequality, like these attitudes that women shouldn't be, experienced or going out and, enjoying their sex lives and stuff. Whereas a man can, they can be the rake and have had lots of partners, but she's a virgin. So I can totally see why people don't like that when
Yeah.
they come at it from that angle. But I have reasons for liking it, so I guess we'll get into those in a bit. Yeah, so do we want to start defending now we know why people don't like them?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can fire
Should we
away.
go round again? Do you want to start, Jess?
Oh, okay. I can do. So why am I defending it? Okay. So as with all things, we all have so much going on. Therefore, yeah, I think have
Oh,
to
I've
give
lost you.
people.
Oh, is that my
Oh, you lost
earphones?
me. Oh
It's all
no,
right.
I'm just being very slow. Again,
Okay.
too much alcohol.
You were moving
Yeah,
your mouth and no sound is coming
and no
out.
words were coming.
It's
don't,
fine.
don't say that. My kids will love you if that happens. Yeah. So, yeah, I think especially nowadays we've got so much going on in the world and so many things kind of coming at you from every option and so many ways that people can take things the wrong way.
Hmm.
I think that yeah, we just need with all of them in theory, we need to just kind of give a little bit of time and effort to I'm trying to figure out the words I'm saying, but I just want to have another drink. You know, we said earlier this might not work so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, why am I saying
Why just likes miscommunication. That's basically
I do.
it, right?
No, I do. I do. I like the fact that it is human in what it
Yeah.
does. I kind of do
Yeah.
like that, and I like the fact that we can bring it to that level, no matter what we're doing, whether it's monsters or people or anything. That it does kind of brings you into the same space as everything, and it just kind of yeah, it makes it feel more human, and it does put me more into the book than
Yeah.
others do.
So it's like it gives you this kind of human level of empathy with them. Like even though
Yes.
they might be a super powerful vampire or something, they still will screw up something
Yeah,
important
everybody
because
kind
they're a
of
bit
gets, yeah,
nervous or they
Yeah.
just didn't think
yeah,
something through or they're coming at it from a different angle,
yeah.
sort of
It
thing.
brings you all down to the same level. And yeah, and then I
Mm.
can see that's how you can clear the air with it. You're kind of on the same field then, aren't you? No matter who you are, where you come from, what you do, what's in the bank, what you're wearing, you're kind of all sort of stripped bare to it.
Yeah. I think what you were saying about like in today's society as well, like if you think about what it's like when you just go on social media for like 2 seconds and you put one little post and 16 people read into it like the wrong thing, even though you typed very
Yeah.
clearly what you meant. And it's like, yeah, maybe people do need to embrace miscommunication a bit more because we do need to stop jumping to conclusions about why people have acted the way they act. And I guess if you're getting annoyed at characters for doing things, if you stick with it, you'll understand why, and it gives you that bit more of empathy as to, well, this is why people sometimes behave the way they behave. It's
Yeah.
not always an excuse, but it's sometimes a reason. And like we could all do with sometimes, yeah,
But I
giving a little
suppose
bit
if
more
you just,
kindness and grace to people.
well, yeah, if you
Definitely.
just think of language, I mean, it's a very British thing, like something just like the word all right. So if somebody comes
Yeah.
up to you and goes, all right, it can be
Yeah.
very different from somebody going, oh, all right. And then it's kind of, yeah, there are so many different ways that one word or whatever, oh, whatever. And yeah, just that tone of something
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
miscommunicated for just, and how you're feeling. It's a very
Mm,
mood related thing, isn't it? So
yeah.
if your other half comes up to you and says, yeah, I'm fine. And you're just in that, well, are you fine? Are you sure you're
No
fine?
one's
What if you're
ever
not
fine
fine?
when they say they're
No.
No,
fine, though, are
fine is not
they?
the, yeah, this is it. So it's kind of, yeah, there are so many with just even four letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a good argument for audiobooks as well, and that like for miscommunication. Because the actors, the voice actors can play everything so differently and it can make it a lot clearer. Maybe when you're reading the words on the page, you might be like, well, why didn't they understand what they were saying? And it's like, well, one reader might read it one way and another reader might read it a different way.
Mm,
But if you're listening to the audiobook, you can only take it kind of the way it's been said with those
Yeah.
inflections. So,
That's the
gonna
importance of a
say,
good narrator, isn't it?
mm,
well, I was gonna say,
Definitely.
yeah, if they get it wrong,
wow.
and you've changed the total
Yeah.
book is
The
totally different
author's
now.
listening going, what did
Yeah,
they do? They've
yeah,
ruined it.
yeah. Are you all right? No,
Yeah.
that's not how you say it.
No, that's not right. And the thing with us Brits as well is we have
Mm,
so many ways of saying the same word in a different way. I think we're terrible for
yeah.
that, really, aren't we? Just saying all right, which is
Mm,
obviously our greeting, isn't it? I
Yeah,
yeah.
know that confuses particularly a lot of Americans.
yeah,
I've seen on TikTok so many Americans that have come over here and have somebody said to them, all right, and they've gone into the whole
yeah.
spiel of how they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
feeling. It's like, no, 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 no,
No,
it's
no,
just a greeting.
no.
We
It's
don't
just
want the
like,
details.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how to say it other than that you're saying all right. It's like you're just saying
Just
hi and
say it
moving
back.
on. Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Whether I
That
answered your question or not, I don't
I
know.
I
But I'm
think
all happy
so.
with
Yeah.
it.
What you're saying is you're checking out now to finish your cocktail. You're
Yeah,
done.
no, no. I'm still leaving a bit left just in case the words come out again.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You have to have some. Mm. Okay. So, Vicky, are you ready to say why you love alpha holes?
Yes, I am. So, and again, specifically talking about fantasy, paranormal,
Hmm.
etc. We're
Hmm.
ignoring contemporary
The world.
in
Yeah,
for
other things.
alpha holes. So my reason for loving alpha holes is kind of twofold. And the first one is they are very similar to spice and heat ratings in that they're very subjective and you can get different levels of alpha hole. And that's something I like as a writer and also as a reader, is that if you don't like the absolute complete total bumhead, there's usually a lighter, sort of slightly sweeter version that you can write into your books or that you can read about. You don't have to go full on growling sociopath. but you can take little elements from that. So that's my first reason. I don't think that just because there's a couple that you don't like that you should write off the whole breed. And my second is they have such potential for emotional growth, and a really good redemption arc and groveling. All of things I really love. I love a good redemption arc. And that for me is real catnip. So I think a lot of readers like that as well. So one of my monsters, Severin, who is the saber-tooth tiger, he was actually the bad guy in book two, or one of the bad guys in book two. And then in book three, he gets himself a fated mate. And all of a sudden, he's still a bit of an asshole, but his qualities in that regard can be used for good, like kicking the crap out of his fated mate's horrible ex-husband.
Good.
So yeah, the potential for emotional growth and a redemption arc is why I think alpha holes are worth people having a second look at.
Okay.
I
Yes.
love that there's a sliding scale of arseholiness.
Yeah.
There absolutely is. I think, and this is what I mean when it's subjective, because one person's alpha hole is another person's cinnamon roll. There are readers and writers who like them pitch dark, and then there's others who just because they say the word fuck, they're considered an alpha hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a definite sliding scale there that you can pick from as a writer.
I'm just trying to think about like what, because I I kind of separate alpha holes in my head from alphas, which is like a slightly different thing, and beta heroes as well and stuff. And I'm just trying to think what it is that makes them like tip over into that alpha hole
Yeah.
category. I don't know. Maybe
And I
it's
think a lot of it is how they treat the partner or partners.
hmm
Yeah.
I think the more alpha holy side tends to be the ones who are an absolute dick to the FMC usually, or to the
yeah.
partner at the beginning. I know that Kiros, who's my fifth monster, the wolf monster, he takes Sabine, the FMC captive at the beginning.
hmm
He takes her prisoner, and his plan is to basically torture her. So I would say that he is probably on the darker side, but then he quickly realizes there's other stuff going on, and he kind of turns it around quite quickly. So there are some readers who probably do or would consider him an alpha hole, and then others who wouldn't because he turns it around very,
Yeah.
very quickly. So it is very subjective, I think.
I was
Mm.
wondering whether like me and Jess are actually the sliding scale we've been talking about, because I was like, he's going to torture her. And Jess was like, yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
of
that's it.
course.
My brain is thinking somebody's kidnapped somebody. Okay, that's a good start to the book. What happens next?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like the intention, okay. Do they do any torturing? I'm out, kind of thing. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Yeah.
thought Jess would be easier to convince than you, actually, Emma, on this. I had a feeling.
Yeah. I mean,
With
weirdly, I
alcohols, I want the recommendation.
Oh, I've got a
yeah.
good one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I think there's some like the alpha I don't mind so much, but yeah, the alpha hole, I think it's more like little things. I mean, that's a big thing, obviously. Like I don't
Torture.
really
Yeah.
read dark
Yeah, yeah.
romance. I can't really cope with the characters being so atrocious to each other.
Yeah.
That being said, one of my favorite series, the Cruel Prince series, is literally a bully romance, but it is like an exception to the rule. I just don't tend to feel as comfortable with them. But then there's a lot of qualities in alphas that I quite enjoy. But and like you say, that redemption arc, that sort of them particularly like if we're looking at it from a perspective of they're probably quite emotionally repressed
Yeah.
and insecure, really deep down from some kind of wound or something. 'Cause
Yes.
why
Yeah.
else would you behave that way?
Yeah.
It's like
Miscommunication, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah.
miscommunication.
Well,
Yeah.
alpha holes and miscommunication, I think, go together really well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hugely well, because I think one of the big things with alpha holes is that they do have to learn to communicate their feelings, and quite
Yeah.
often they don't do that very well. So you will often find an alpha hole and miscommunication in the same book, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that goes back to like the historicals a bit, doesn't it? And how that's managed and who can do that quite well and other ones
Yeah.
that you don't feel do it well, but then other people absolutely love, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, subjective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is it. It is very subjective. Yeah. I think I think that's it. I think it's like you can't necessarily convince me that to like alpha holes, but it's up to me what I'm still like on the
Yeah.
fence about what even is an alpha
What
hole
is
or
it?
not.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
No, we know nobody knows really, because it's
No.
it's so individual
Yeah.
to each person.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm trying to think, do you
exactly.
get many beta holes? Or are they just usually the nice smiley ones that come in and save the day?
Is they going to be a hole of some kind, though? I mean,
Well, no, I'm just
There's
curious if
usually a
any
um,
hole of
beta.
some sort.
if we're in a
Yeah.
Metaverse,
Like
then yes,
mini
the betas are
holes.
definitely a hole. But
There's
um,
usually at least one hole of
yeah,
some sort. Um,
absolutely. Oh no, Jess is gone.
she's
Come
gone.
back to us,
Fine.
Jess. It's all
No,
right.
I'm all good. I'm still
You're right. Um,
here. Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I think with a beta, it's like it feels that's when they're like like a nice guy, isn't it? I would say maybe they're pretending to be nice, but they're not. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
more
like
of
the
just a
cinnamon
villain.
roll kind of thing.
Mm.
They tend to be less of an asshole.
I was like,
Um,
yeah, it's the balm, isn't it, that comes in after the alphas come in and gone, ah, rah, rah, rah. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm. Okay. Right. So I guess I've got to try and figure out how to defend virgin
Indeed.
heroines. Um, yeah, I think my first reason that I wrote down probably doesn't help much in the argument against like the patriarchal system and stuff, because I think I tend to like it because it means, in contrast, the hero, if it is heterosexual romance, um, they're they tend to be competent, and I like competent heroes, basically.
yeah.
They do tend to try and be, if they know that the heroine is a virgin, they do tend to it forces them, I think, sometimes to start to show a bit more care and tenderness and slow themselves down a bit, which then creates tension too,
Mhm.
I think. So I think I kind of like it in that dynamic a little bit. Um, but I think as well, there's like a perception that a virgin heroine would be very shy and retiring, and I don't think that's always the case. I think I find it like sometimes they can be feral. They
Yeah.
can be like proper, they are well up for it and they're like, just get on with it, lad,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, so I like seeing the contrast there, or even if they are a bit shy, then I think you're also fast tracking a bit of the vulnerability and the trust. Whereas, someone that's more experienced, it's still trust and vulnerability, but just, they might see it more as an act than something they're emotionally tied to. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe. Depends on the
Yeah.
characters. Um, yeah, I think it depends on the context as well. Like in a lot of historicals, it tends to make sense, like we're saying about alpha holes being, you're fitting more with the times. I mean, I guess in a fantasy setting, you don't have that excuse quite so much, but a lot of them do tend to mimic a kind of historical setup.
Patriarchal
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
system.
yeah,
Yeah.
but with a different outcome, I guess.
Yeah.
There's more mobility going on there between the classes and the sexes and stuff like that. That's usually like the whole point of the story.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there's like a Venn diagram that we should have for this because Virgin FMC with an alpha hole is a
hmm
very good mix because
Yes.
that then, yeah, that opens up so much of, as you said, there's a vulnerability from the alpha hole, and then you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
searching inside himself for that. And yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
you get it with Faye, especially, which has
mm,
the systems in place. So you will have
Yeah. Yeah.
virgin princesses who are sold off to whichever
yeah.
prince of whichever kingdom they wish
hmm
to trade with. And yeah, that
Yeah.
is it, it's collateral then, isn't it, to be able to use it. So
Mm.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that feeds in the opposite way. Like I was talking about them if the hero knows. If they don't know, quite often that they're like they
yeah,
find out later and they have like the big guilt, don't
yeah,
they?
god
They
damn it,
have the, oh
yeah,
my God, I really pushed it too hard, too fast with
Yeah.
this woman. I did not realize, or, they thought she was putting it on for some reason or whatever. So you can get a lot of conflict from that, definitely. And age
Yeah.
gaps, I guess, as well, because you do tend to get those massive age gaps, and then it just seems to make a bit more sense. If he's been around for 500 years, it's very rare he would have kept it in his pants for that long.
No, yeah, and he's going to know what he's doing as well, isn't he? Which I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you said at the beginning, it's important. I think if you're
yeah.
dealing with a virgin FMC, you want
hmm
an immortal who's been around the block a
Yeah.
few times, who knows what he's
You would
doing.
hope at some point they would have come across someone who was not faking it and told them exactly how to do it. So,
Yeah,
god, if they didn't, we need to have words with people. We need a time machine to go and have words with all the people.
mm,
yeah,
yeah. And I mean, but I also think like on the flip side of not liking it because it has this connotation that women can't be, you know, sexually active. I think also there is a flip side of going, well, if you hate virgin MCs, then what about the people who aren't ready? What about the people
Yeah,
who
yeah,
want time and have to wait and they chose to wait for the right person or just until they felt like it was the right time for themselves? That's equally as important and fair, I think. So
mm,
yes.
I
Yeah,
would
I
say
would
that.
agree with that. I think a lot of readers, it's nice to read about an FMC's first time, particularly if it goes incredibly well, because it's with a
yeah,
Mm,
2000-year-old dragon shifter or whatever.
yeah.
Um, because it's nice to see that experience on the page if you don't have much experience yourself. So I think that there's like we say, there's always something for everyone, I
Mm,
think.
yeah.
yeah,
Do you
definitely.
think we hold the same for male characters, whether
I love
straight
a virgin
or gay
hero.
romances? But yeah, I'm just curious if people
They're
I
getting
like
really
a
don't.
popular,
virgin
I
hero.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm,
do as well. Yeah.
I think whether it's both of them being virgins or just them, I think you can sometimes get that, and that can be really um like a deep emotional thing because if sometimes they've been waiting a long time for
Mm.
the heroine or something, or yeah, I mean think of like one of our favorites is the Psy-Changeling stories, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And a lot of them are because of like the psychological things. They're not meant to touch each other and feel
God
those
no,
things,
yeah.
and
No.
then they're all getting into it, you know.
Mm,
And just because they
yeah.
haven't done the practical act doesn't mean they haven't done the theory, as we know.
No.
Yes, they
Yeah,
they
I have
do
all
their
these books in
research.
here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I definitely welcome it from and yeah, maybe there should be more of that. Maybe it's not that you should hate the virgin heroines. Maybe it's just that we should invite more of the virgin heroes too, to kind of balance it
And the
out.
horizons.
Bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
does you good.
Yes. Okay. So, oh, sorry, I was just looking at my note and it said orgasm virgin. I was like, oh, that's a different thing.
That's a totally different thing.
Yeah. Sometimes they have been having sex, but they've never had someone that pleased them, and that's good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
One to think about, isn't it? Well, let's
yeah,
not end on that. Let's do good things.
yeah. Sorry, brought it down there. I don't want to be doing that. So, yeah, I guess have we how are we feeling? Are we feeling convinced by people's arguments?
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't going to take much for
No.
most of them. For me,
No,
honestly,
yeah.
I'm good with all of these. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I literally all I in the my fantasy romance has a virgin FMC, an MMC who is a bit of an alcohol, certainly at the beginning, and in book two there's loads of miscommunication. So
yeah,
I'm fully on board. You had me at the beginning, so
There
yeah,
we
you
yeah,
had me at
go.
hello, really.
yeah, that's fine.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I think sometimes it just if it's it as with everybody here, if it's very well done, you don't even notice at a certain stage for some of it, and you're sort of like, oh, actually, it
Mm,
just kind of organically feeds into it, and it's yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly with miscommunication, actually, you get to the end of the book and it's like, oh wow, that actually had some miscommunication in it,
mm,
and I didn't
yeah,
really even spot it.
yeah,
Yeah.
until you get to it, and it yeah, they leap out and go, oh, gee,
I
okay,
think
I've written it again.
Yeah.
it's so
And it,
hard not to put it in. I don't like, I think it must be quite glaringly obvious when there has been none because the people must be, all the characters must be talking to each other so clearly all the time. Like it brings to mind um Radiance, Grace Draven, one of my I really enjoy that one because it is very much it subverts a lot of those tropes in that they have the marriage of convenience, but they go in it's more of a friends to lovers that but they just talk about everything. They're very honest with each other, like from the offset, because I think they've accepted their situation and it works. You can still make it
oh,
work, but I think it's very obvious that it's doing something different. So it because it's just so natural to
Yeah,
miscommunicate all the time. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, my pick for it was we go back to it all the time is Pestilence.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and it's kind of it's not even a miscommunication in theory because it's like, well, we've had sex, now you're going to marry me and be my wife because that's what you do in this world.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, nobody's ever said this, nobody should have ever assumed this. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's how the world works, isn't it? And it just,
Yeah.
yeah, there's the miscommunication is there, but it's kind of not really because he doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
hmm.
Have you got any other Rex, or is that your one that you
oh, that
went
was the
for?
one.
Mm.
My book, Heart of Stone, which I used it in very obviously. That one, I'll throw that one out there. What else did I
Yeah.
have? Oh yeah, you mentioned Winter's Orbit, I think, in the last one
Oh, I did.
that we did. Yeah,
Yes.
so that was in
So you're
there.
even
And
stealing my Rex. It's
I
like
know it's what
fine.
I'm here for. I'll be wearing glasses and dyeing my hair next week.
You have
And
been
yeah,
wearing
oh,
glasses. It's
oh,
slowly happening.
it really is.
She's sending me
Um,
stuff to put in the background. We're just merging into each other.
we are becoming Gemma. That's
Yeah.
that's it now. It'll be half our faces each next time, like
Yeah.
Two-Face out of Batman.
Oh,
And I've gone for the Hoard King series because I do Zoe Draven a
okay.
lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, all of the bits in there, again, it's kind of the humans have come to the planet and there is, yeah, kind of the miscommunication, just different cultures of what happens and what
Yeah.
doesn't happen, and these beings who kind of rule over this land and have to be a bit alpha holy because
Mm.
that if they don't, everything crumbles.
I
So
bet
they
there are a
are
couple
that
of virgin
way.
heroines in there too.
They very much probably are as well. Yes, oh God,
Yeah.
yes, there's probably more
I've
than
not read
one.
that series yet. That's on my
Oh,
TBR.
it's
I
so
must get to
good.
that.
Mm.
So good. But yeah, so yeah, there's just all of that sort of stuff where it's everything that we've pretty much said in all of these because they
Yeah.
just easily flow into stories.
Mm. They do. They do.
Hmm.
So what are your Rex, Vicky? Have you got some in particular other than your own, if you want to
Other than your
shout them
own, which you
out?
can
Yes.
re-say. Yes.
Yeah. No, I have a couple. The first one, I don't think I'm gonna win Emma over with this one, but you never
Okay.
know. So I'm going to say this, read the trigger warnings.
Okay.
This is very much a trigger warning needed for
Hmm.
this one. So this is the Deathbound duology by Aiden Pierce and RK Pierce. It is a dark paranormal romance. And it's have you read this one,
No,
Jess?
but it's
Oh,
just
but
for
it's for you,
me.
yeah.
It's for
Yeah.
So
me.
the first book is Lord of Bones, and the second book is Queen of Carrion. And it's basically about a human girl called Raven who kind of ekes out this meager existence as a grave robber until one day she robs the wrong crypt, basically, and she gets dragged down to Limbo by the Lord of Bones, who is the king of Limbo. And he decides to punish her for all eternity. But then very quickly realizes that he wants to do more than just punish her. He's just obsessed with her, completely obsessed with her, but in a very dark way. So he unalives her boyfriend and makes her a crown out of his spine.
That's so sweet.
Which I was like,
I don't do flowers. How about
because the boyfriend was a dick, so
Jewelry.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's labyrinth coded, so he gives her 3 days to escape. He says, look, if you can get out of the labyrinth in 3 days, you can go. But I mean, it's very clear she ain't getting away from him. There's no way. And he tricks her, he manipulates her. It's very, very high heat. And he's a complete alpha hole pretty much all the way through this book. But you can kind of see why he is the way he is. He's not just an asshole. He is, but there's reasons behind it.
He's not just an asshole.
He's not just an asshole. He has a soul.
He's a murderer too.
He's a murderer as well. He has levels.
Layers, yes.
He has layers.
Yes.
But in the second book, going back to how I said they can be very useful, he uses his alpha hole personality and his alpha hole traits to pretty much rip hell apart to save her. And the second book is very much about his redemption. He's still a complete knobber, really, but his obsession has turned to absolute love. And she gives as good as she gets as well, which I really like, which is one of the reasons why he falls for her, is she doesn't take any shit at all. It's just a really, he's still a complete knobber at the end, but he's a knobber in love. And it's really good, particularly if you're a fan of Labyrinth. It like I said, it's very Labyrinth coded, and it is very dark. It is very gory in places, but it's extremely spicy. I have a feeling it's right up Jess's street, certainly.
Yes,
I reckon, Emma,
everything.
I might be able to get you on it as well.
I'll read it first,
Maybe.
and then I'll send it down.
When you were explaining like the context of it, and it's like I mean, I loved Pestilence. And that was, literally.
He dragged her along behind his horse.
Yeah.
Days.
This is it. I did buy that. So maybe I'm not as brave as I should be sometimes. Maybe I should try things a little bit more, because when you're explaining that, I can as long as there's enough reasoning behind it, even if they're like enemies and they're really nasty to each other.
Yeah.
If you can, and like you say, sometimes I guess as well, it's like a power imbalance type thing, maybe.
Yes, which I really don't like in contemporary romance. I never read bully romance ever. It's not for me.
No.
But in fantasy and paranormal, I love it. So I really enjoyed that duology. And then my other rec, which is slightly less dark, is the Naga Brides series by Naomi Lucas.
I was going to say, I think I've done this.
Yeah.
And you've done one by
I've only
Aiden
read the
Pierce
first
too,
three.
I'm sure I did.
There's another one by, I think it was Aiden Pierce, to do with a Minotaur, which I read. Was that Aiden Pierce?
Again, that sounds up my street.
Was yours Run Rabbit Run or Pray
I think it might have been.
or something like that?
Yeah, it could be.
I think we called it Run Rabbit Run. That was the cocktail. I think the book was actually Pray. Now we're crossing the streams.
Yeah.
But there is a Run Rabbit Run, isn't there?
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Oh, but that might be by someone else.
Oh, maybe.
We're getting so confused now. There's so many.
So many books
So
that we
many
talked
good
about,
books.
honestly.
So many.
But,
We'll read them up
sorry.
properly and give proper lists.
Yeah.
Again, I've only read the first three books in the Naga Brides series, but I really enjoyed them. And that's about a race of alien snake men. And each book is like a different, I guess, breed of snake, who don't have any females on their planet. So when a group of human women land on their planet, the snake all get together and they're kind of like, right, if we can catch them, they get kind of caveman about it. We catch them, they're ours, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they are alcohol, but I would say again on the scale, on the layers,
Mm.
they're less dark and they're emotionally stunted because they've never been in love, they've never had an opportunity to show their emotions, and very quickly when each of them meet their partner, whilst they do stay possessive and growly, and because that's in their nature, they do learn they get to grips with their emotions certainly quicker than the guy in the last series in the last book, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend that. I
Okay.
really enjoyed the first three.
Yeah. I mean, I think I definitely enjoy, like you're saying, with like a monster romance or, something where you can put it in the context of they have a different nature. And so it kind of makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I remember even back when like Twilight came out and people were like, oh, he's such a stalker. And I was like, but he's a vampire. He's different. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's what
It's
they
like,
do.
it's
Yeah.
Make
just,
allowances for that.
he's
Yeah.
meant
Yeah.
to be a predator. And that was kind of the point, wasn't it? And I mean, I'm not saying whether or not that was done well or not, but that principle coming into anything with where they're supposed to be, like your Apex series, where they are predators, when you've got like this little soft human, usually
Yeah,
the wires get crossed. It's very confusing for them.
exactly.
I do get
Exactly.
that. Yeah, absolutely. Um, cool. Thank you. What's your give us your book title? I don't think you have for your one with your Virgin Hero.
Oh, so the first book, so it's the Gods of Trivium
Yeah.
series, and the first book is called Sacrifice,
Hmm.
and then the second book is A Fate Unbound.
Yes.
So yes, it is a duology. So it does end on a plot cliffhanger, but the
Okay.
both books are out, so you don't have to wait.
That's
You can,
fine.
Lovely.
yeah.
Fine.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't do loads of Rex for mine because I think it's one of those things where it's like I almost forget when they were a
Yeah.
virgin, or I'd have to go through with like a fine tooth comb and be like, were they? Weren't they?
Yeah.
Not sure. Um, but I had just very recently read A Hunger Like No Other. Yeah, the
Bit
Kresley
of
Cole
Kresley.
one.
Love Kresley.
Yes, which, there's an alpha hole
Again,
there, I would
yeah,
say.
he gnaws his leg off to escape to come and get to her. You are dark. You are sat in the dark and you are dark.
I know. Give me a second. I'm gonna go put a light on because this is getting silly. I'm just like, "Ooh." You're drawing me to the dark side. It's like
Put your blanket on your
symbolic.
We're
head.
doing it.
Come on.
1 second.
Me, like 6 years to get to this point. I go, Emma, have a look at this one. Emma, have a look at this one. There we go.
There we are.
We have light.
There we go.
There we go. You can see my mush again. Um, yeah. So yeah, I mean he's terrible to her, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. So it's like it is, and yeah, he has to come back quite a long way from that. But yeah, in terms of her being a virgin heroine, I mean, you go, oh, she's young, but she's young compared to him.
Yeah.
She's actually 70. I think she's like 70 years old as a vampire, half vampire, half
Oh,
Valkyrie.
okay.
Um, but because she is such a unique creature, she's been kept very closeted on her aunt's like estate. And I mean, she's gone out and been with like college and stuff like that. She does know people, but it's it's difficult because she can only come out at night. So she can't really conduct a relationship with like humans, normal humans, because they'd ask questions. And then like all of the other creatures that she knows are they're around her aunts all the time and she'd just be embarrassed basically. She doesn't have any space. So this is like the first time she's left to go to Paris, where he comes up from the catacombs. He sniffs her out and he comes up from the catacombs. Um, so so yeah, it kind of makes sense that she is, there are reasons why she is. But it doesn't occur to him because he thinks her nature must be very different. She looks fully grown and, kind of he has assumptions about vampires and doesn't realize what her life's been like or anything like that. She's just an enemy to him. So yeah, that was my rec. So that fell in quite nicely.
Yeah.
with Probably with miscommunication too. It's not like they bothered to
Mhm.
get details. There were a few bits at the beginning of that one where I was like, please just explain something to each other. Anything. Just a couple of lines at some point would be good. But it still works. So
Mm.
I was very happy with it.
Do you have any more, or are you just on the one?
No, that was it for actual like paranormal and fantasy ones. I did have a shout out for a male virgin hero, which is a novella by Tessa Dare, which is I think called Lord Dashwood Missed Out or something like that. And that's like a second chance. And they meet up again. She feels aggrieved. He left her kind of. And then they obviously get stranded and they're in like a cabin through a snowstorm and stuff. Things
Mm.
happen. But it turns out he's been at sea. He's not, he's not been getting busy. So he's the virgin in that scenario.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. And it's very nice. It's just I love Tessa Dare books. They're very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it for those. I'm sure there are others. I had a
There'll be
feeling
loads.
I felt like Luxuria was. Do you remember that one? I can't remember who the author is, but it was quite a few years ago that I read it, and it might just have been because she had a thing for monsters and she wasn't supposed to. They were like the
Oh yeah,
warden.
rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah. They were the Shades, and she gets married off to the King of the Shades because she's got a very particular thing about
Oh,
Yes,
I
she's got
don't
a.
think I've read that one.
about
Yeah.
monsters. Yeah. And they've made her think that, she's not right. Her kink is wrong kind of thing because she's attracted to what is potentially, their enemy. Um, so I had a feeling like she hadn't, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm right on that one. So
But this,
correct me
yeah,
if
as you
I'm wrong.
said,
I need to go back
yeah,
and look at that.
yeah, this is it. You kind of forget because once they sort of get into the relationship, that's it. That's them. They're as a couple, and
Yeah.
everything kind of just gets forgotten
And
by the
that's what I mean.
wayside.
And quite often, it's such a sort of non it's like an invented barrier in a way. Like we do understand that obviously there is being a virgin and there's not being a virgin. But in terms of like an emotional spectrum of what happens and relationships and all the other things that you can do, like you can do a lot of stuff and still be just like a penetrative virgin. And some people just don't have sex that way. They just
Mm.
because they can't or they don't want to. So it's like,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like embrace all the kinds,
Yeah.
Mm.
basically. Let's not make them feel bad for being virgins.
Spectrum of all things, people.
Yes, exactly. So I think we covered a lot of ground
I
there.
think we have. Mm.
Yeah. There's a lot of intersecting ground as well. I feel like,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's all interlinked.
yeah, we were
I
on the
think I
same.
do think those three tropes seem to work quite well
Mm.
together.
Yeah, I think plenty of people will be going away feeling inspired, probably.
Yes.
Like, go find those books or go write some more of those
Go write these
books.
books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's definitely a lot of people that enjoy them.
These books because they're very good. Just putting that in there because I have.
Yeah, yeah, they are. I'm
Thank
actually
you. It's
reading the
just
third one at the moment because you're coming. I was like, oh,
I'll get
I've
into
read
it.
the first two, and you've done so many since I
Yes.
haven't been able to keep up.
Yeah.
And I've been like, I've been, we were talking actually, the episode before this one is about reading slumps, but we talk about how like novellas are really, really
Yes.
helpful for reading slumps. And
Oh,
I was like,
definitely. Yeah.
I think I need that. I need to pick that up. So I'm reading Severin at the moment. And I have to
Oh,
say,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm about like 25% in. I don't feel he's an alpha hole too much at this
No,
stage. I'm
I think
not.
he
But
changes
he
very
was,
Yeah,
quickly.
he
yeah, the villain in the last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
See, it's the redemption arc. It's the
Yeah.
redemption. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's weird because I'm actually I'm revising my contemporary at the moment, and I did the same thing. The hero of the one that I'm doing at the moment, was kind of the bad guy in the last one. Not terrible, because it's like quite cozy Christmas romance. We're not talking about awful stuff here, but it's still that thing of getting into their heads and why they were acting the way they were acting, and like I was saying about them. Oh, there are many, many messed up problems they've got, which is lots of fun to write, definitely.
It is. Yeah, I love giving the villains most villains a redemption arc. That's why, like in the Apex series, I have to make the actual villains really, really horrible. Because otherwise I'll just want them to have their own book with a redemption arc, and like that can't happen.
You can keep doing it. Keep going.
Come on.
But only with the monsters, like the bad guy humans, they have to be really bad. They have to be cartoonish bad, because I don't want them to have a happy ending. They don't deserve it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You're in charge, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well,
sort of. Yeah.
This was only supposed to be a one book, because it was only supposed to be one book, the monsters. This was not supposed to be a series.
Well,
yeah. We did it, didn't we, for our Christmas special with a lot of the other books that were going to be in that anthology, including one of Jess's as well.
Yes.
Well, this is it. And just look at the authors that have come out of that, and all of the books that we've had since. It was kind of
amazing.
We've had people on who just started with we've got another person who started with the novellas and just kept going.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. It's really good. There's been so many authors that have quite rightly done amazing things with their monster romances.
Yeah, definitely. It was quite a new thing back then. It was like,
at the time,
not like new, but just people going that hard into the monster side. Like people had kind of got used to standard werewolf
and vampires.
Vampires. The tentacles took the next level, and it's kind of then everything went from there.
I think obviously monster romance has been around for like a long time, hasn't it? A very long time. But I personally think it went a bit crazy in COVID, particularly because people were obviously reading a lot because there was nothing else to do. But it was just such a scary time for a lot of people. And I think to read about these scary creatures, which really should have been killing us, but instead were wanting to protect us and sleep with us and all the rest of it. I think it was quite cathartic for a lot of people in COVID, which is why it helped it kind of explode onto the scene like it is now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Oh, I did have one last question for you, Vicky, which was because we were talking about like the reader and the writer side, and you mentioned something about this before, Jess. Is there a trope that you really, really love that you don't think you'd ever write, or you've gone to write and felt like, no, I can't do this. I just like to read it.
Let me think. I do like sometimes I like friends to lovers. And I don't think that's one, certainly not for them. I don't see how I could write that for monsters, really.
No.
So that's probably one that I do sometimes like to read. But I mean, I think honestly, I think I'd give anything a go in terms of tropes. Anything that I like, I will try to get in a book at some point. Not necessarily a monster book, but definitely I'll give it a go. You got to give it a go, haven't you, at the end of the day?
This is it. Yeah, you never know what grows from just a simple idea. So
you can always shelve it if it's an absolute disaster.
We've all got some of those, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Come back to them at another time. They still have gems in them, don't they? Lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Is that lovely?
Has there been anything else, Jess, that you can think of?
No, I'm all good. I'm quite glad that the technical issues that we had at the beginning have actually gone out the window.
That's good. Fine. Other than my lighting issue, but that was easily solved.
Yeah, my brain.
So we'll take that. So next week we'll be back with just our April book chat. And we'll also be talking about our season 13 picks. What results we got from the poll, what we're going to go for. Yes, the series. So we're picking 2 series with and reading like the first 3 books in them. What did we go for? You went for You
I did
wanted
write
to
them down.
read
I
the
did,
rest of
yeah, as of the pestilence and war and famine and such from Laura Thalassa. I had them here
yeah.
somewhere. I can't remember what it was.
I was
Oh,
just
it was the
wondering.
female series by,
Yeah,
was it Indy Wright? Have you got them there
I
handy?
think so. Yeah, because we could ask Vicky if she's read
Oh,
any
and
of them.
Inferno Rising by
And
Abigail Owens with my dragons. Love
yeah,
a dragon.
have you read any of those ones, Vicky?
I've not read any of those. No, no, I might
Okay.
have to look them up.
Okay, so my ones were, I think I did, I know I put in the Kate Daniels series from Ilona Andrews. I've done Blood Moon Texas Shifters by Kat Kinney, Branded Packs by Carrie Ann Ryan and Alexandra Ivy. And what was the very first one? Let's see.
Did you do Sherilyn?
Sherilyn something.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're great at remembering. The Dark
yeah,
Hunter World series by Sherilyn Kenyon. Have you heard of any of those
Kenyon, that's
ones?
it.
Heard of? I don't think I've read them.
Ah, okay.
No,
Oh,
I'm
we've
gonna have to
just
go and look all of
extended
those
your
up now.
TBR now.
This is it. I thought we'd just put those out there. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's still yeah, there'll still be some time for people to vote if they want to. So you can either go on the podcast episode and there's a vote attached to it if you're on Spotify, or they can go onto the social media on Instagram, and there are two pinned posts which have the vote at the top too. So if people want to get in their choices for what they'd like to hear about, that would be good.
Are there ones that you're hoping for, or are you looking forward to all of those?
I think I am, yeah, I'm kind of open to any really. Yeah, I picked them all and sort of thought they all sound good. I mean, I know I love Ilona Andrews, so almost in a way, I know I'd read those anyway. So it'd probably
Yeah.
be better to have something else. And we've also I know I've talked about them a couple of times on the podcast already for different things. Um, so yeah, probably if it's one of the other three, that'd be good. But I'm part of me is very tempted to, if like Jess's one gets picked to do the rest of the Four Horsemen.
I was gonna say we did Pestilence was one of the
Yeah,
founders for us, so
it
to
was
do the
second
rest, it would
episode,
be,
wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be.
And like it would also force me to finish the series because I am terrible at not finishing series.
Yeah.
I start, I read one book, and then I'm like, that's a good series. I'll come
I
back
come
to
down to
that
that.
6 years later, like with
Yeah.
yours. I'm like,
Yeah.
read the first two books, really enjoyed those.
Oh, there's
Have I read the
more.
others? I'm going to.
I
It's
know.
just,
No, I'm the
it will
same. I've got
happen.
so many where I've started the series and either the next book isn't out yet or I've just gone on to something else. I've got so many. Amazon keeps saying, "Do you want to continue this
Yeah.
series?"
And I'm like,
Yes, at
oh,
some point.
yes, I do. But not right now.
Not
I'm going to go and look
yet.
at the deals and buy six more books that I won't
Exactly.
read.
So am I
Exactly.
the only series whore then that I have to start and finish until I can't do any more?
I think so. I think it's
I
that
think
ends
so,
of the
Okay.
yeah.
spectrum again with us,
Yeah.
isn't it,
Oh,
Jess?
God
Something going
damn it.
on there.
Oh,
You must complete the
I
things.
must finish it, yeah.
See, that drives
Mm.
me mad. My other half's like that in that he'll want to watch something back to back to back to back to back. If there's like
Yes.
six series of something, he wants to watch every single episode over like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Oh,
Give me something different. And
yeah. I
then we'll
need a bit
come
of
back to
variety.
it. Yes,
But
Oh
exactly.
then
my
you've
God, if
forgotten what happens.
this
So
is it.
then,
If my brain splits, I'm like squirrel. I'm like dog, squirrel, and that's
I'm
it. I'm
done.
done.
So it's a discipline thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it was there were some really awful reasons I kept reading series. So
I wouldn't say awful. They're probably
yeah, it's some of them
it's there on
questionable.
purpose. Let's be honest. That's why a lot of people do it.
Damn you!
Yes.
No, it's so good.
So anyway, yes, that's what's coming up. And thank you so much for joining us. We're not having
thank you for having me. Thank
another
you. It's
trope.
been really fun.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Yeah. So people catch Vicky's books are out there. Go grab them. Go read them. They're excellent. There's a
Yeah, have you
boop.
got any
I
other
just
things?
read the
Yeah.
boop bit in your
Oh,
book. It's so good.
I did. That's one of my favorite scenes is the boop
Yeah,
scenes. That's
I
doing
love
quite
that.
well on one of my trial reels on Instagram at the moment. It's the boop scene is very, very popular.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's awesome. Okay.
I was going to say, yeah, do you have anything else in the works that you can tell us about, or?
Yes, so I'm currently writing book 6 in the Apex series. So that is Echo Bound. I've written the first draft. I finished that, I think it was last week. And I've literally the last couple of days just started revising. I think it needs quite a lot of revision. And this monster, I have to say, monster number 6 has been the trickiest to pin down in terms of his personality, his motivations. He's a tricky character, but it's kind of slowly coming together. So that's going to be out at some point this year, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Oh, looking forward to it. Send us the details. Send me the date, please. Thank you.
Yes, I will do.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And we'll
Thanks for
see you
joining us.
soon. Yeah.
Happy penis.
Okay. Last one.